Yes. Hello, 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 and thank you for joining us. Welcome to the movement. We are the movement, a motivational organization veered to educate minds, empower, nurture, and transform. And Annette, as you so affectionately say while you roll your neck, we are a movement to move. That's who we are, a movement
Yeah.
to move. We want to help you thrust into your purpose so that you can start living your best life and win. Tapping into a winner's mindset, sitting at the winner's table with winner's methods. We want to see you win, right, Annette?
Yeah, that is so true. And we are here to celebrate. This is a thankful Wednesday night, and we're thankful for what we've been through, what we're going through, and what's out there waiting on us. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, and like I said earlier, we won't be long. And I started this before. I started talking before I pressed record, and we were talking about the myth and the lie. But we're going to take that lie that was taught to us in the history books, and we're going to make that thing positive. And we're going to take Thanksgiving tonight in a whole new vantage point and just remind us. We want everyone to be reminded of the wonderful things that we have to be thankful for. I can think back, Annette. I was looking at the timeline, and I looked back at our last year's Thanksgiving broadcast, and I was like, wow. At that time, we had only been doing it a few months, and I think we had just started to add PowerPoint because we had just started on Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook and Instagram, and I was looking at like, golly, I was looking at that presentation like, man, this was so like long ago, long before we had our format together and everything. And I started to just give things. I was so grateful that we actually kept going,
Yeah.
that we didn't stop, we didn't give up. And I want to tell you guys tonight that, in this season, sometimes we'll wait till the new year to start reflecting. Don't let your mind get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in the New Year's resolution. I like to look at my life much like the fiscal year. The fiscal year in the music industry starts in October. By November, nobody's doing anything. Everybody's kind of slowing down and they're enjoying family. It's the holiday. They're going to parties. They're cooking. They're relaxing. Some are vacationing because the new year, it starts off running. So
Mm-hmm.
if you start off December 31st saying, I'm going to, you're so late that by the time that first week gets here, you don't know what to do. So I like to take this entire season and start reflecting on my life and reflect on the things that I've done and the positive side. Don't reflect on the negative, reflect on that positive stuff. And I want to start getting the things churning in my mind. So I'm going to go into our presentation right now and just kind of go through what we're going to be talking about tonight. It's this time of year can be very tricky because some people get depressed. Some people get are upset because they're not where they think they should be, or they're not doing what they think they could be. They feel, like I said about the young lady last week, and then she said she felt unfulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And so often we put ourselves in a position that we have these expectations. And when we don't meet our own expectations, when our lifestyle or whatever we're doing just kind of takes us off course, we can get depressed, we get upset. But I want us to not get on that. I want you to get your mind on being thankful. I want there was a song we used to sing at one of my old churches, and there's a song we used to sing called I'm Grateful. And I really love that song. I love that phrase. And if you can think of, when you just sit right now and just pause and think over your life, think about, how much you have accomplished since Thanksgiving last year to Thanksgiving this year. I want you to just type in these words, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Because the thing is, guess what? You're still here. And some people are not. Some people might be here, but they can't even, they can't do anything. Just over this season, when I think about this season, it's a season that I lost my mom 2 years ago, and we just buried my brother on Saturday. And then on Saturday, before the funeral, one of my closest friends died. So now I'm just reflecting like, wow, it could be me. It could be any of you on here. but God has spared your life. And I want you to just take a moment and just pause and say, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful that God, he allowed me to see another day. I'm grateful that, the family that I have are here. I'm grateful that I have strength, that I have my right mind, all of those wonderful things. And I thought about the song, I always go to a song. I was thinking about the song, Someone Has a Question.
Mm.
And, a lot of times people might look at you when you smile all the time or when you're happy. And we're like, why do you smile all the time? There was a lady I knew this was back in the 80s. And I had a friend who was always, joyful. She was always jovial. And this lady that I knew, she said, where is that lady that was with you? I said, what lady? She said, that lady that smiled all the time. The lady is always smiling. And if she said it like she was bothered that the lady was smiling all the time. And I'm like, she's just happy. And then when I think about that, because she told me one time, because I told her what the person said, I said, they were like, why is that lady smiling all the time? Where's that lady that smiles all the time? And she was like, I'm just grateful. She said, when I think of God's goodness over my life, and at one point she had been ill, but she was given, she was healed and she was given that second chance. She said, you don't understand. When you come back close to death and you've been told that you have a certain amount of time to live, and then you go back and you find out that, whatever they told you was now gone, you see life differently. It's one thing when somebody tells you you have 3 months to live. But when you go back and they tell you that the reason that whatever they saw is gone, and now to go and live your life, she said, I made it my business that I was going to be happy every day. She said, I made it my business. So there are many reasons why we sing. But, the one thing I want you to do, and I said this in the beginning, I alluded to it in the beginning, is don't believe the hype. Don't build yourself up on false hope and false pretenses. Don't build yourself up on coming down on other people. And the hype that I talked about in the beginning was about, the story behind Thanksgiving and why, there's such a controversy this time of year. I have many people that I'll say happy Thanksgiving. They'll say, happy, what does it say? I remember the indigenous on this day or something like that. I forgot the phrase they use. And I'm like, can't you just say give thanks or something, or I'm grateful? Why do you have to go to the negative? So I don't want us to, get caught up in the hype, because sometimes, and Annette will tell you, sometimes people will start to sorrow, to reflect, and they'll have the sorrowful moments. And remember this particular person, Annette, who would stand up and go, I've had a very bad year during our testimony. And it's like, by the time she got done with her testimony, I would be so heavy. I'd be like, and I just didn't think that was what Thanksgiving was about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, why reflect on the bad? Don't get caught up in that hype that you have to go and just pull all your skeletons out the closet. And you're like, oh God, they beat me, they bruised me, they battered me. It's one thing to remember people, but it's another thing to get caught up in that whole emotional, that rooting of that emotional state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing is, if you just learn to be grateful, gratitude will make you happier. It just does. I mean, think about it. When I start reflecting on the good in my life, my mom used to say, what's that song my mom used to sing? When I think of the goodness of Jesus and all he's done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. Oh, that was a song that I could just see her heels clicking right now on the floor. She would pat them heels one at a time, singing that song. But it's the thing when your soul, when you think about it, when you just think of the good things, you get a smile on your face. Just like, okay, I know all y'all can reflect to this. Think back to that first date. that one that you just love so much, or your wedding day, or a certain moment, what are you going to do, Annette?
Smile.
Exactly. You're going to smile. You're going to smile. So I want us to just, like, the thing is, when you put good thoughts in your head and good memories in your spirit, and that gives you a reason to smile. It gives you a reason to sing. It gives you a reason to feel grateful. So start to, the Bible says, there's a passage of scripture, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, shall guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. And when it starts going into that, finally, my brethren, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are thoughtful, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. Because when you think on those good things, when you think on the good thoughts, when you think about the goodness, when you think about hope and love and peace, it does make you happier.
That's true. One thing I believe people really don't really look at the words Thanksgiving. We just say, oh, it's Thanksgiving. But if you just stop and just dissect the words a little bit, you're giving thanks for something. You give thanks not just for your turkey and your collard greens, but in my mind, you're giving thanks for life and health and strength. And all that make you happy. I was thinking about when I was at work the other night, and I was just smiling at the lady. She was old. She had to be in her age. She said, "Why are you smiling like that?" And she just grabbed me and hugged me. And that just meant a lot to me. I ain't never seen a lady before, because you know what I was thinking, and then the whole time in her talk. But I was thinking, so maybe she needed that smile. You never know. You never know. You don't know what people are going through. And, just to see a smile on your face can make a difference. And that's the reason why you sing, because you're happy. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's true. It just makes you happy. It makes you happier. Then there's another thing too. It motivates others. Think about your boss on your job.
Yeah.
If your boss is always, okay, you didn't do this right, and you didn't do this right, and you need to do that, are you going to feel motivated to do anything?
Yeah.
But mess around here and get a good report. Oh, you had a pep in your step. I never forget, I saw this guy one time. Actually, I know him personally. He worked at Piccadilly. He worked there when it was Morrison's in Daytona on Beach Street.
Yeah.
He was a friend of mine's father. He worked there for years. And he retired recently. I mean, he worked there all my life. I'm serious. As long as I've known him, he's worked there. And I remember personally one day, I was in there, and I think it was me, my ex-husband, it may have been my mom and somebody, and we just noticed, we just happened to be standing there. A guy came in and gave him a tip and shook his hand. He said, "I just want to say, Ben, you're a great guy." He gave him this wonderful compliment. And the look on his face and the sound of his voice when he said, "Thank you," and he walked away, I remember my ex-husband saying, "Now, see, that probably went a long way with that brother right there." Whatever. And I told her, I said, "I know him. He's my friend's father." He said, "I'm sure he doesn't get that often." And a lot of times there are a lot of people who just don't. So when you are grateful, even when you're grateful for somebody's presence, even if somebody opens the door for you at the grocery store, if you just say thank you, it will promote them to be motivated to do good things, to continue to do good things. It does. It just naturally motivates people.
And Nita, we need that now in this time that we're living in. It's just like everybody is just so mean. It's like this year the country just did this shift. And it's just people mean and calling names out mean. It don't matter the color of skin. It's just people mean. So to see somebody smile or be kind, it goes a long way. It really does.
It really does. It really does. I'm telling you, it travels. Another thing is it will improve everything about you. When you are happy and when you have good thoughts and good vibrations, good energy, your health improves. People want to be around you. They want to be in your presence. Everything about you, your surroundings, the people around you, everything elevates. So this is definitely, something that not just in this season, that we should just practice in general.
Yeah.
Is to be grateful, to be thankful, because we have a whole lot sometimes to complain about. But how many times do you actually sit down and take inventory of the things to be grateful about? When I'm depressed about bills, which is a lot of times, not really. I really don't get depressed about I have my moments. But when I do have my moments, I make it my business to reflect on the good.
Yeah.
And on the things that I have to be grateful for, that and how much worse it could be. I remember I said this to somebody one time, when my feelings have been hurt, or when I'm angry. Most of the time I'll get angry. And if you hurt my feelings, that's not often, but when you do hurt my feelings, it might make me cry a little bit. But when I'm angry, most of the time is when I'm angry, I don't, I know these people who go off on social media. Oh, they get on social media and leave these subliminal messages. Oh my God, they be telling everybody off. And if you blah, 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 and you're talking to somebody in particular, but you're going to come on social media, you're going to tell me and everybody else who reads
it. Yes.
Well, I always did the opposite. When I felt that way, or when I've been betrayed, or I've been, like somebody stabbed me in the back, I would find a random subject and encourage. It would be about finances. It would be about hope. It would be about something. And I would encourage people, and I would just put a little mini sermon up, and I would do my little wow, be blessed, be free. And I would get like 200 comments. I needed to hear that. You're talking to me. You're preaching to me. That's me. You posted that for me. And the thing is, me doing that for somebody else made me feel better.
Yeah.
I started off mad. I mean, I wanted to choice word up and slap somebody. I may have started off that way, but by the time I finished giving that encouraging word on Facebook, then I felt better myself. And it had nothing, most of the time it has nothing to do with what I'm mad about. You know what I mean, Annette?
That's true. Yeah. But Nita, what about the time, you know what, Sunday, a lady was very rude to me at this little restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her for something. She's talking about what? And so my mind went click. Okay. You say, don't do it. and I told Lynn, I said, "Oh, Lynn, I did good." He said, "No, you didn't." He said, "I was so mad. I was taking my fist and hitting it in my hand because I didn't want to click on her. Because normally, because I think now before I react, I used to react and think because she was supposed to get it, but I didn't, and so that's the reason why I sang, because it's your last point. It will improve everything about you. So that for me, even though I was angry and I would just like hit my hand, I said, "Ooh, I want to tell about her mama so bad," even though I only know the lady mama. But I didn't, and I was when I walked out that restaurant and got in the car, I said, "Thank you." I said, "Yeah, that's why reason why I sang right there, because she was supposed to. She was supposed to get it, but I didn't do it." And I know, that comes with this walk. There'll be times when they're supposed to get it with both barrels. I wouldn't have cursed her, but I'd have let her have it. And I thought about it when I walked out. I said, "Ooh, I'm so glad." Because you remember that time, Nita, at the church. I don't know if you was at the church, local church. It was Mount Carmel, I don't care. And I went off on this older lady. You remember her? Remember the lady?
I think I do remember.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah.
And I just lost it. And I can't think who the musician was at the time. He say, Sister Lass. And I came to myself and I told Lass, "I'm so sorry." And she told me, and this lady told me, she passed away. She said, "You know what? I deserved it."
Wow.
She was the one that was always mean to people.
Always
with the gray hair. She always wore an afro. She used to be with
I remember.
Yeah, and she was and then I clicked on that lady. And, man, I cried. I felt bad about that for probably a couple of years because I shouldn't have done.
I've been in situations like that where I've clicked on somebody and I felt bad afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want me to unleash. And see, Annette, and I know what's behind them glasses. I know what used to be. I put it that way. I up if they rub you wrong.
Yeah.
Because people will take your kindness for weakness.
Yeah.
You're very, your demeanor and everything is very gentle and very kind. I mean, you be calming me down. I be wanting to go off. You be like, no.
Most of the time, and that's how I was but baby, I
Oh my
almost went back in there and told my, look at here, you don't know who you, but you know what though? That's a reason right there to be thankful. That's why we Thanksgiving. Not like I said, not for just a turkey. When you can look and you can make a difference, not only in your life and somebody else. Because I had went off on her. I don't know what that lady was going through. She may not even meant it, you know. But
God.
I could have taken that moment and just unleashed on her. And
Okay.
when I would have unleashed, that'd probably been some stuff that I was mad about 2 years ago, you know, because I don't get mad often, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
into it. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on that. We don't need to talk about that all day, but
Yeah. Well, hey, that's why we have. Val, you must have struck a nerve on Val. She's like, there's Val, there's Deidre,
yeah. What's
the Boom Quisha. There's Boom Quisha.
okay, Boom?
Somebody you don't want that Boom
You
Quisha.
almost got Boom Quisha's sister, I tell you.
That's funny. But you know what? That's the thing. But when we reflect on that good stuff, see, we
Yeah.
bring that good out. And that's what you have to do in times like that. And that is
Yep.
that you have to think. You have to put that mind up. But what the Bible is right. Think on the things that are good. Think on the things that are honest. Think on the things that are of good report. And if there be any virtue and praise, think on these things. And it's hard sometimes.
And then you have to be careful because when you confess a certain something, and then you know people be watching. And first, oh, I thought she was saved. I thought she was, you know. So you have to protect your witness too. You know, even though sometimes you can't act like you know, like unseemly or whatever. You have to protect who you are, and you know. So it be just my luck. I've been going there clicking, and somebody walked in.
This much is true.
But I didn't do it. I didn't. So
this much is true. I feel you, honey. All right, and then you know, and sometimes you know, I listened to a recording tonight of Denzel Washington, and it was called "Just Say Thank You." And you know, so often we just don't. And when we get to this point, we think it just means to God, but it's to everything, everyone, in every instance and everything in your life. You know, we'll sit down, we'll you know, on Thanksgiving, we'll give thanks for that food. And we'll be like, yeah, I'm grateful, you know, got my family here, but y'all be ready to eat for real. But how many times do you actually take the time to just say thank you?
thank you.
Like even when today, when I was going into the grocery store, there was an older guy who went in front of me, and he went to get his basket, and he just handed it to me. I said, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But a lot of times I know that some people might barely say thank you. You could probably hear it under their breath low. And even the person, and even when they're rude to you at the drive-thru, just say thank you. Because then it starts to cause a positive reaction out of them. Sometimes it'll make them go in their rudeness. So when you say thank you, start to remember and reflect and respect.
That's right.
I remember somebody said to me one time, don't tell me you love me, just respect me. And when you respect me, the love will show through that. I'm like, and it took me a while to really get that. Who said sometimes I say thank you for the things we take for granted. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. God, thank you for eyelids. I mean, you know, that is something we take for granted. I wouldn't even imagine if I didn't have eyelids. But we remember, we reflect, and respect. Respect other people. Respect people's time. Respect people's boundaries. True. Respect, you know, I said something to somebody the other day that I don't like, you know, well, I live in a gated community, so I don't have pop-up visits, but I didn't like pop-up visits when I didn't. I wanted to know when you come into my house, because you don't know what I'm in. You don't know what state somebody's in. I don't know, you know, what, you know, I don't know what you and your husband and Axel doing. Y'all could be sitting down, chilling, watching TV in your PJs. And you get, unless it's an emergency. I think it's just such a disrespect to pop up at somebody's house unannounced.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, I give people the respect to not do that. But when we're talking about, respect, remembering, reflecting, and respecting, respect what the time that somebody put into something for you. When
Yeah.
you ask people to do things for you, like for instance, I used to have these ladies that would come to my office, and at one time I could pay them, and after a while I just couldn't, but they still came. And still to this day, I do certain acts of kindness for them that are random. Why? Because I respect the time that they sold into what I was doing. Because they sold into me before I could pay them, and they still sold into me, even when I couldn't pay them. And now that I don't even have a business to pay them from, they still sold into me. And it's like, and I'm like, wow, you really do that for me? And they're like, oh, girl, I always told you anything about the money. And I'm like, I feel bad, having you do this for me, because sometimes people still call them because they, were so used to them being my assistant or my receptionist and stuff. And they would actually just handle the business for me. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, thank you. Now that's what you call. And then when I do a random act of kindness, like, what is this for? I'm just saying, I'm grateful that you were there and that you did things for me. You went above and beyond. Yeah. That's when you respect somebody else's time.
That's it. Hey, Nita. Ooh, say she just didn't answer the door when they popped up.
Hey. That's what a lot of people do. I mean, I've known people to be sitting right up in the house. I'm like, you're not going to get that? I wouldn't anybody. And I feel kind of bad. I'm like, well, what if it's an emergency? They would have called. If it was an emergency, they'd be ringing the phone right now saying, open the door.
Yeah, true. But I think in your own life, I think you never forget what you've come through.
Mm-hmm.
You reflect on how you survived, and then you respect your walk.
Wow.
Because, you don't forget it, but mm-hmm. you remember, you reflect on how you survived, and you respect it. Because I look back, and, and I respect every step that I took, every heartache, every disappointment. And I remember, reflect, and respect it, because now it gave me a better perspective where I am, mm-hmm. because I saw where I came from. And, and I reflect and too, how I survived it. That mm-hmm. was the key. Because, mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of times people go through stuff, but a lot of people don't survive it.
True.
But I was able to survive it. And now since I came through it, I respect it. And I respect every disappointment, every heartache, every time somebody walked out of my life, and now I view life totally different because of my my remembrance and my reflection and my respect mm-hmm. of my own personal life.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Mm-hmm. Another thing is, count your blessings. If you really want to have something to remember, reflect, and respect, sit down and just count the many ways that God has blessed you just today. How He blessed you from not getting into a car accident. How He blessed you from not falling down the stairs. How He blessed you by, allowing you to have lights and water so you can cook mm-hmm. your Thanksgiving dinner. How He blessed you with the food that you're preparing. How He blessed you with the family that's coming over, or how He blessed you for places to go, woo-woo. He blessed you with many places that you can go and get your takeout. But the thing is, and how He blessed you, Keisha, with a mama that could tell you how to make that macaroni and cheese. Yeah. That you forgot how to make. We'll say for gas to go pick up the food.
That's a blessing.
When you start counting, when you count your blessings, sit down and just start listing them and say, thank you. When I was listening to Denzel today, he was saying, thank you for the things that we take for granted. Thank you for air. Mm-hmm. Thank you for water. Thank you for peace. Thank you for a mind. Thank you for the ability to read. Thank you for the ability to write. Thank you for the ability to speak. Thank you for legs to walk on. Thank you for hands to clap. I'm like, my God. It's like, those are things, it's like, man, I'm going to bless somebody. Thank you.
The other night, yesterday at TBN, and normally I never watch TBN, but it was some singers on that. Kiki Wyatt, what is his name? The preacher. Anyway, I can't think. Open the floodgates of heaven, man. I can't think
Paul
of
Morton.
And it was another lady on there. I don't know who she was. She can say. She said she was talking about she had a stroke. She said, and her whole left side was paralyzed. She said, but she said how I got through. She said I learned how to clap with my right hand.
Wow.
She said I clapped with my right hand until my left hand was able to line up to where it needed to be. And that thing blessed me. Yes, I said, wow.
Wow.
You know, and of course she's healed now. But
Mm-hmm.
how we have to learn whatever we have, use that.
Mm-hmm.
She could have easily said, you know what, forget this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but she clapped, she used that right hand to clap. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
she did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey,
yeah.
count them up. Count them up and just say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is to serve. When you don't know what to do, it's like serving somebody else. When is the last time that I was looking today at that little angels, you know how they have little angel trees? They have those in the pet store, because I went to the pet store, but they have it's different in the pet store. In the pet store, it's you're investing in a either emotional pet or something like that. And I looked up and you look and then to pets finding a home that are in the shelters and stuff. And so I was just looking at that, and of course I gave $1. But and you're right, we're blessed to be a blessing to others. So but I know that I often pull one of the little angels off the tree, or I'll purchase some random gifts, or we'll put together some food for somebody's gift box and all that kind of stuff. So when you serve other people, that in itself,
Yeah.
is you showing an act of kindness and thanks, because you're able to. You're blessed, and you're blessed to be a blessing, as we were saying, as we say so often. You're blessed so that you can bless others. So how often do you do that? And that is just the way. That is one of the ways, just to say thank you, God, for blessing me. Now I'm
Yeah.
going to take what you've given me and I'm going to give it to somebody else, even if it's not monetary, even if it's not food, even if it's clothes or a pair of shoes, even if it's something that you know that they need and you just so randomly, go out and get it.
Yeah.
But, just look for somebody to bless. I remember back in the day, I used to go and find somebody whose child needed school clothes. And I would personally just pull together a couple $100s and go and invest in their school clothes for that year. I would get as much stuff that I could get, and I would, that was just my way of serving somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to serve. I wanted to give up my time to, volunteering at a shelter, or volunteering, in anything at a hospital. Like how we used to go and do the Christmas carols during the Christmas season. All of that stuff, all of that is service.
Yeah.
And that's just another way to give thanks.
Yeah. Anita, I found a quote earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and it says, a kind gesture can reach a wound that only compassion can heal.
Wow.
Yeah, that blessed me.
Wow.
A kind, because people are wounded. And sometimes, just because you're reaching out and serving, and, you could be the catalyst to help help that wound be healed, because you chose to be compassionate and to serve and to love on people and to remind them that they're not alone. Because so many times people think they're by themselves, even with millions of people, billions of people, you still feel alone sometimes. So,
and before we get to our last one, I wanted to do our verb for the night. And the thing is, I was looking at, of course, when we talking about thanks, of course, we would, the title is give thanks. When we look at the word thanks, which is a verb, there was only one tense, which is transitive, which means to express gratitude. But when I look up the word give, and when I look at it from an intransitive state, the word give means to make gifts present. You're going to make something present, and you're going to do it wholeheartedly and actively. You're actively and wholeheartedly making something present. When you look at it from a transitive state, and this is what really got me, is that you're going to execute and deliver.
Oh.
You're going to execute and deliver something wholeheartedly and actively an act of gratitude. You're going to, um, and that got me. It's like it takes effort. It takes the effort. You have to. There has to be action. Remember, in an intransitive state, it just is. Intransitive, it just is. It's to make gifts present. Though that's going to happen. It's going to be present. What's going to be present? Wholeheartedly and actively, I am going to bestow upon you, or I'm going to take action and I'm going to transfer, or I'm going to execute and deliver thanks, gratitude, wholeheartedly and actively. So that, when we look at this, when we look at it, it's not just about just, the lip service, but it's about taking action too. Because that's what we were talking about with serving and with remembering and reflecting and respecting. It takes action. You have to get up off yourself. You have to get up off of your feelings. You have to get up off of your pity party, your what's it called, the pot, the pity pot. You have to get up off the pity pot, and you have to actually deliver gratitude. And when you're delivering gratitude, it's not about you. It's about others. It's about God. It's about other people. It's about other situations. It's not about you. Oh, thank you, Anita. Thank you. How can you thank yourself? Thank you, Anita. Thank you. Crazy. Because the last one is not really, I just pulled this because I was looking at the song, looking at, me reflecting on songs. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. I remember when that song first came out. Because oftentimes, like we said earlier, that this is a time of year that sometimes we reflect on the negative. If I allow myself to fall into the slump, I could just sit down and be sad the entire time. But, I was looking at Carrie, what Carrie wanted, let me tell you, Carrie wanted to cook big today. Carrie was chopping, Carrie cut up all her stuff for tomorrow. And dinner's going to be cooked so quick because it's just me and her. So dinner's going to be cooked very fast because we're splitting it up and each of us are doing it. I know she's going to kill me because each of us are doing different things, but, we're dividing the responsibility. But she was chopping and cutting and chopping and slicing and cutting. I was watching her, I'm like, what's she chopping for? I'm like, okay. She getting everything ready. So she got it all sectioned off, all bagged up, all of the little Tupperware dishes. All she has to do is going dump, 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 dump. I was like, okay, all right. I ain't mad at you. But I think Karen kind of wanted to cook big, though. Because it's just embedded. It's instilled in us. So I was like, okay, well, even though it's just me and her, and we may have a couple of people step in because, of course, our meal is 95% vegan, and we have a couple of pieces of turkey that we're cooking, but everything else is vegan. So, of course, ain't too many people gonna want to come over here, even though our food be good. Don't be fooled. Our food be good. But I just want to say to everybody, take your time, enjoy your day, and don't reflect on the negative. I laughed at Carrie because she was like looking like my mama over the chopping. She said, should I put it in the blender like mama? I'm like, oh, she did that? I had no idea. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was saying, do what you do, because I never did that part. So I was like, oh, okay. All right, so she's gonna put everything together like mama. See, at mama house the night before, the dressing and the dressing would be made up and marinating. The greens would be cooked like 2 or 3 days before and in the freezer. And everything else would be, almost prepared. And usually the next morning, all they had to do was pop the dressing in the oven, make the mac and cheese, and that was it. Because the turkey would even cook overnight. Pies would be done. The pies would be laid out. She'd be cooking pies like 2 or 3 days. She would cook like 20 pies sometimes. But yeah, so that was, and I think Carrie kind of had a flashback. I was like, I think she had a flashback. But anyway, so I choose to be happy, and it's a choice. We all make the choice. We make a choice as to whether or not we're going to be depressed, whether or not we're going to be angry, whether or not we're going to be bitter. But I choose to not worry and to be happy. So I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. We just wanted to come on tonight. Oh, hey, Yolanda. Yolanda, you cooking? We just wanted to come on tonight and just kind of share and reflect and have a, nice little discussion and just encourage and not hold you long, as I know everybody trying to get back to their stove. If you haven't left your stove already, everybody but Boo Boo trying to get back to that stove. and everybody but Boo Boo and Karen, who already got her stuff together. Trying to get back to that stove so you can finish your cooking for tomorrow. But enjoy your day, enjoy family, and remember to just in all things, just give thanks.
Yes, yes.
Want to say anything in that before we go off?
Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your day tomorrow. For those of you who are off, enjoy your off days. Yep. And we'll be back next Wednesday.
We will be back next Wednesday with an incredible topic. So don't sleep on us, boy. We get
in December, the last month of the year.
Month, boy. We got some things going on, and we're excited. So we will see you all next Wednesday, same time, same place, and bring a friend.
Bye, everybody.